So a couple weeks ago, I had this crazy idea just pop into my head that I think I want to run a marathon. I have no idea where this came from. I've never had that desire before. You know, the first couple months of the year is the busiest time of the year for business for me. I'm traveling like crazy. Just had my first child, Grayson, coming up on 3 months. I have every excuse in the book. But that idea just continued to grow. I went public myself, and for me, I love to surf. When I complete this, I'm gonna send myself on an international surf trip with the guys. Did a quick search on the internet, and I registered for the Catalina Marathon on March 19th. It wasn't until after I already registered that I realized most of the course is hills, and it goes up and down from sea level to 1,700 feet elevation through the entire race. But hey, I guess that'll make for an even better experience. So for the strategy, I did a little research online and found a marathon training schedule. Goal is to run 5 days a week, 2 rest days, and scale anywhere from 25 up to 50 miles a week. Nutrition is gonna be key. Obviously gonna power myself with the Vi product line. Everything from energy, from Neon to Go when needed. Handle my snacking from Vi Bites to NutriBars, peanut butter jelly, my favorite. Vi Pack AM, PM, and meals, gonna focus on crunch. And for the first time, I'm excited about this, and one of my challenges, our brand new Vi-Shape Superfood Shake. Well, we got the goal, we got the strategy. All that's left now, the action. If I think of all the challenges that I've completed, whether it be, climbing the tallest mountain in the US, or, putting on over 20 pounds of muscle in 90 days, or doing my first triathlon, or bringing back the 6-pack and getting down to 6.7% body fat, or a crazy time I competed in a national jiu-jitsu tournament. I think all of them have the same reason behind, and I think the reason, it really comes down to a pursuit of life. In order to really live, you gotta have novelty in your life. You gotta be able to do something new. You gotta have variety. You gotta have challenge. Without challenge, we don't grow. And if you really think about the opposite, or what happens if you don't have novelty, or you don't have challenge, well then you have nothing new. You're doing the same thing you've always done. You have nothing to stretch or grow you, so you're not gonna progress, so you're not gonna move forward. And if you really think about that, well, what kind of life is that? So we're out here on beautiful Catalina Island, about an hour ferry ride outside of Southern California. It was interesting. I came into this year wanting to challenge myself and set a new goal. Shot out a text message that said, I'm gonna run a marathon, anyone in? And a whole group of individuals ended up challenging themselves to join me out here in Catalina. From family, we got a bunch of my friends from all different aspects of my life that are running the 5K and the 10K. So just a really cool experience, how just an idea of inspiration on a simple message out there. Now we have an amazing group of people here to have some fun, challenge ourselves, and tackle Catalina. So I'm of the belief that consistency builds confidence. And I knew from the very beginning that this challenge was going to be one of, if not the hardest physical event I've ever done in my life. So I put in the time, and I mean I put in the time. In under 90 days, I've ran nearly 300 miles. And that's crazy how far you can progress when you just put in the time consistently. So I'm gonna give it my all. I trained. I'm going in as prepared as I can be. We'll see how it goes. So it all began this morning at 4 a.m. Woke up, we hopped on a ferry. We had to take an hour boat ride from Avalon all the way to the other side of the island where the marathon began. And then the whistle blew. At 7 a.m. off we went. Started with a 4-mile uphill, grueling. 2 miles in, I'm running, I'm trying to get in my flow. I look over my shoulder, what do I see? A giant buffalo. 2 miles in, I got buffaloes chasing me. But then I did my thing, went up, down, beautiful, beautiful terrain, the hills. And mile 13, 14, where all of a sudden I started slowing down, started feeling the pain. I didn't think I was gonna hit the wall that early. And I think I was psyching myself out a little bit, knowing that right after that, there was a 10-mile uphill. Then just kind of put my mind in another place, said I'm gonna focus on the finish line, said I'm gonna run my race. I don't know if it was an adrenaline thing, I don't know if it was a mental thing going into a different place, I don't know if it was willpower, but managed to continue to power through and finish with a great time. I found myself crossing the finish line and just this elation. You know, it was crazy. I almost had like tears coming in my eyes, just overwhelming. Definitely the hardest thing I've ever done physically, and probably the most rewarding thing that I've ever done physically as well. Probably the coolest thing about today's experience was just watching some of the people that are closest to me really just challenge themselves and have an absolute blast, and some of them just hit it out of the park. Matter of fact, Karis's dad, Tim, finished number 2 in his age bracket in the 10K. My friends Steve Jambor and Rich Paula finished top 10 in their age bracket. Karis pushed Grayson, along with the help of my friend Jared, in the stroller all the way through the 10K, which was crazy. And you know, probably the highlight would be my friend Aaron, who ran the marathon with me, that just absolutely crushed it. So it's just an overwhelming sense of joy to watch so many people step up, accept the challenge. So distance, 26.2 miles. Total elevation gain during the race, just under 4,500 feet. Rated the 5th most difficult marathon course in the world. Personal time came in at about 4 hours and 40 minutes. So with that, I get to say, Vi commit and challenge complete, which means, man, I gotta figure out where I'm gonna go for my surf trip.